Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Christopher Pellin, and I am your host here at THC Time. Always a pleasure. This week, I have got some amazing guests on, and my first guest has been involved in this delightful little short film. It's called The Mayor's Game. Very, very cool. So please welcome A. Wheeler to THC Time. How are you today?
I'm doing all right. Thank you for having me.
Well, thank you for coming. Are you in the path of a snowstorm? Are you somewhere warm?
It's chilly here. We aren't snowstorm yet.
Okay, excellent. I'm in Illinois. We were supposed to get all this crazy snow, and it just never happened.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about what you do and how you got started. The Mayor's Game, is this your first venture into film, or were there little projects leading up to?
So this is my first as venture as like creator and director. Mm-hmm. I worked on a short film in the spring before this came out called the petersonproject.net, and it was a Saw fan short film, and I acted in it. I played the coroner. I was PR, and I did scientific consulting. And I did a podcast after that, and all of that sort of just lit the fire under me to do this.
Sure. Now, growing up, were you a horror kid, or was this something you discovered later in life? Okay. What was your start? What broke the horror cherry, so to speak?
So the OG answer would be The Conjuring 2. Okay. But I kind of strayed from the genre for a little bit because I am not a big fan of like gimmicky jump scares.
Sure.
So then what really got me back into it was Robert Eggers' The Witch.
So good. Mm-hmm. So good. I the first time I watched that movie, I was like, I'm pretty sure I like it. I think I need to watch it again. Yeah. Then after the second, I'm like, oh yeah, absolutely. Top shelf. Have you seen Nosferatu yet?
Oh yeah. I saw it on Christmas Day. Loved it.
All right. I haven't gotten out of the house yet. I've been really busy, but it is on my list of things to do.
Fabulous. It's top tier.
So what was your first film? What were you started off in acting and then now you're directing? Was that your first project?
As a director, technically the podcast, Carnivea, would have been my first directing venture, but this was my first like dealing with kind of like camera angles and shots as a director. And I did start acting. I have a background in musical theater, actually.
Oh, excellent.
So that's kind of where I come from. And I took a directing class in my one of my last semesters in undergrad. And I kind of was like, oh, like maybe this is something I'll do in the future. And now I've fallen in love with it. So
nice. Let's take a look. We're gonna get into The Mayor's Game, and then when we come back, we'll talk about the process. We'll talk about the inspiration, that whole 9 yards. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is The Mayor's Game.
Day of Nightmares.
You are invited to this space.
You often bring terror.
But we wish to turn our nightmares
into
daydreams.
home? Look, I said I'm sorry for having people over the other night. I forgot we had plans, and I know that's shitty, but silent treatment is just as shitty. It's all I wished for. I wanted you to get me. And I wanted you to see me. But I think you made it worse. Dude, it's been more than 5 minutes. Come on. Pick up.
Hey, sorry it took me a second. I need to help Mom get her wheelchair inside. What's up?
No, don't worry. I'm just home alone and a little
Something
wigged
happened to
out.
your roommate? I know you guys have been fighting for a few days.
Yeah. I told her sorry like 1,000 times, and she doesn't even seem to think I'm trying to be a good friend, when in reality, all I want to do is be more than a friend, and sorry, off topic. I'm just home alone, and it feels strange, and it's felt strange since we did the game. It's probably nothing. Briar? Oh. Fucking hell. No signal? There's no way the power lines are out tonight. Why tonight? Nothing ever goes my way. You know, I tried the whole Christianity thing, and God didn't give two shits about me. I tried the whole wish thing, and no results. So I heard that supposedly messing with the Fae was high risk, high reward, and this is a big fat nothing. So much for thinking you'd be useful. Whoever's here, leave my home right now. I don't like the cops, but I'll call them and I'll get you to leave.
It is quite rude to speak to your guests like that.
Leave, just leave, go. I don't.
But weren't you just complaining that I wasn't doing enough? As you said yourself, bargaining with me is such high risk.
I don't want that. I don't want the risk or reward. You can leave, please.
But we just became acquainted.
No, I don't want that. Please.
But a few minutes ago, you were practically begging to meet me.
I don't want to anymore. No.
How do y'all want to hurt you? I could make your dreams come true. You just have to be polite. That's it.
Good girl. Now, you are right. I do want to see you crushed beneath my hand, but not yet.
No. I won't ever speak your name ever again. Please just leave.
Honey, that is not how this works. You brought me here. You asked me to help you be seen. I see you now. Breathing, wide-eyed, stupid. Oh, so human. Your terror. Oh, your fear makes you smell so delectable.
No, no.
What a treat. I do hope your friends can live up to you.
Kangaroo? Roo? Are you okay?
So, I had an idea.
An idea from you? Must be a wild one.
Shut up. It's just a silly game.
A game?
Yeah. It's like one of those weird ass paranormal games you see on the internet. I thought it would be just a fun little thrill, and Briar and I already researched it.
And you're alright with this, Bri? This doesn't seem like your type of thing.
Yeah, it's not like it'll really work or anything. It's...
Well, we can play at my place. I have that antique dresser with the creepy mirror, and we need a mirror, and it fits the vibes. So I think we should play at my place. And there's an incantation you have to recite, and then you light a bunch of candles, and you will then write what you want on a piece of paper, put a drop of your blood in the flame, and then burn the piece of paper with what you want. I think it'd be fun.
I guess I'm in.
Sure. Why not?
Hell yeah.
How was the funeral?
Fine, I guess.
Yeah, shit. I'm sorry.
It's fine, I guess. I still remember 3rd grade, actually, when we first met. They told off some boys making fun of me on the playground. They never took shit from anyone.
Yeah, they were cool as fuck. I'm glad you introduced us to them.
What?
It's nothing important.
Just fucking say it, dude.
Alright, fine. Were you in love with them, Bri?
Yeah. Still am.
Since when?
Since high school.
You never told them?
Nope.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. Me too. I'm gonna miss you, Ruru. I wish they knew what happened. I wish you were still here.
You could still tell them the truth.
Mom? It's late. Do you need something? Sleep. I need sleep.
Mom? You alright? Do you need help getting up the stairs again? Mom?
I am not your mother, darling. Though, if it gives you peace of mind, she is alright.
Who are you? What are you? How did you get in here? Why are you here?
Do you not remember? You called upon me.
No,
There is no escape, dear. I am here to grant your wish.
You can't. You can't. They're dead. That was my wish and they're dead.
Exactly. I am here to grant your wish. So ungrateful.
Hey guys, it's been a minute. Life's been a little crazy, but I'll give you an update here in a minute. Be on the lookout for a tour of my house? Some of you have commented that it looks like it's haunted. We'll find out together. It's all so stupid. And then I have to go to another funeral. That's so fucked up. Hey, how's it going? I know, it's so weird and it feels wrong that they both suddenly died. I don't like it. Don't laugh, but what if it's that stupid game you played at Rue's house? I mean, people on Wish Talks can never fuck with the Fae, and what if we did something wrong or bad? What if the creature we tried to summon... Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I guess I just miss them. Like, they were our best friends. Briar played video games with me, and Rue watched House of Dragon with me every week. I guess I just miss them. Yeah. Okay, yeah. You would take care of your dog. We'll talk later.
You are a clever one. Much cleverer than I expected.
Holy shit. This can't be real. This is my grief. Some people hallucinate when they grieve, and...
You said so yourself. The game you chose to play killed your dear friends. I killed them, to be precise. They got what they wanted, though. I saw Rue for the person they were. Briar and Tim got what they wanted. They wanted to be with Rue. Now they are together. Together in death, but together all the same. We'll have the audience you desire to our demise.
Cheers, fuckers. Hi to all of you. You know that? Hope you're all rotting in hell. Whether it was the mayor or some stupid twist of fate, I got what I wanted. I only wish I was there to see you all when you died. You know, sometimes I wish things were different. But I could have forgiven you for all that you've done. Or didn't. It takes a fucked up person to ignore her friend when they're close to being houseless and they're getting out of the job. You brought this upon yourselves. Rue, I'm not so sure your sister was that awfully in need of taking care of. And Briar, your mother, she has multiple sclerosis. She's not dying. But Ashton, you had no fucking excuse, you pretentious motherfucker. I've always hated your vlogs anyway. Revenge is a dish best served dead. Or revenge. Maybe righteous justice.
You got what you wanted, and I got a feast. Their fear tasted like new life, though every bridge you cross has its goal. And perhaps you are just as deserving as your friends.
No. No. That's not fair. Leave me alone.
You don't seem to follow. I granted your wish. Revenge. And now, I take my prize, and dear, you smell delectable.
See you, Santa.
So I saw that Nick was in there, and I've been playing back and forth for the last like 6 weeks because I guess he was supposed to come on the show, and then there was a sickness or something. How long have the two of you been working together?
We actually met on the Peterson project, and then we worked on Carnivea together and decided that we loved working together. So we made our production company, the Murder Associates Productions.
Nice. Very nice. So what is in the pipeline?
So there's a lot that's going on. We have a web series that is going to come out sometime this spring called Fangs and Flowers. Nick is the showrunner for that and the creator. I wrote an episode. I play one of the main characters, and I was our intimacy coordinator. We have Marianne coming up, which is one of Nick's short films. And then we are working on our first feature film, Severamente, that I am directing, and I was the head writer for that.
Excellent.
I mean, lastly, in the pipeline that I am aware of is we're doing a sequel to Carnivea that is obviously still podcast format, but it is supposed to come out probably April-ish.
Nice. Very nice. So lots on the slate. That's good. That's good stuff. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and we will be right back.
Two warriors from the future will join forces.
You two are humanity's last hope.
To fight a greedy corporation that will stop at nothing to get what they want.
I think we're ready. Somebody get me a vegetable.
Go on, sir.
Idiot! You want us to get it sued?
Got to From the visionary director that decided to remake his own movie that nobody watched in the first place. Starring a bunch of people you've never heard of.
Oh my God!
Killer Cabbage. You are what they eat. Coming soon.
All right, and we are back, and it is time to play everybody's favorite game. This is Straight Fire.
What if CAT really spelled dog?
All right, here we go. Straight Fire, 5 random questions. Don't think about it too long. It's all funny stuff. First question and the last question are always the same. So, first question. If dogs wore pants, would they wear them on 2 legs or 4 legs?
2.
2 legs. All right. What is your favorite guilty pleasure movie?
A Bad Mom's Christmas.
Love that movie. Love that movie. You're in a cabin in the woods. You find a book. Do you read the ancient text?
Yeah, probably. Probably. I'm too curious not to.
But we know what that curiosity leads to.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? I'll risk it.
All right, fair enough. You are sitting on death row. What is your last meal?
Extra spicy chicken tikka masala, garlic naan, and birthday cake frozen yogurt with like a dark chocolate Oreo.
All right. Excellent. And the last question, the question I ask everybody, and once I ask and you answer, I'll explain why. When you're at the grocery store, can you reach the top shelf?
Sometimes.
Okay. The reason I asked it, very first interview I ever did, somebody asked me that question. And I'm 6'4". So I've never, 1% of my life is spent getting stuff from tall places for short people.
Mm-hmm.
So, for me, it's like, here you go, no problem. So I always ask that because it was one of those questions like, what? Yes. Okay, sure. So where can we find you guys online?
So my personal Instagram is just A Wheeler Official. And then the Murder Associates Productions is the same handle, the Murder Associates Productions. That's on Instagram. And then you can also find me on Facebook, but I don't know if people use Facebook that much anymore. But I'm A Lee on there. And we have a YouTube channel, the Murder Associates Productions.
So things are kicking off. Things are growing. It's a lot of exciting stuff happening.
Very.
I want to thank you for your time today. I really do appreciate it. You are more than welcome anytime. When you guys got projects coming out, come on, we'll hype it up. We'll talk. We'll have a good time. Yeah. And eventually I will get Nick on the show. It's just a matter of getting that timing to fall into place.
Absolutely.
So folks, we're going to go out on a quick commercial break and stay tuned for whatever's next. I'll figure it out. And we'll see you next time right here on THC.
coming over me with such intensity that I can hardly feel what's happening to me. It's pumping through my veins when it's just vicious pain. It overtakes my brain, I'll never be the same.
I would like, if I may, to take you on a strange journey.
Welcome to the first episode of Terror on the Tube. This will be my new bi-weekly podcast, where I dive deep into episodes of the best classic horror shows from the last 60 years. From The Twilight Zone to Monsters, from Chiller to Tales from the Dark Side, you'll find them all here. And what better place to start than with The Twilight Zone? There are so many solid episodes of the show that I could write a book about it, and many people have. Over the course of its 5-year run, 156 episodes were produced, with 92 of them written by series creator Rod Serling. For those of you keeping track at home, that's 59% of the entire run. That kind of output is almost unheard of, and I don't think that there are any shows currently on the air that can make that claim. To say that Rod Serling was the driving force behind the series would be an understatement. By the late 50s, Serling had become a proven success on television. He had created several successful teleplays such as Patters, which aired on Kraft Television Theatre, and Requiem for a Heavyweight for Playhouse 90. Despite his success, Serling often found himself frustrated by the restrictions of the medium, and up against both networks and sponsors, who insisted on changes to his work for a variety of reasons. By 1956, Serling was ready to tackle more controversial subject matter than in his earlier work. He penned the teleplay Noon on Doomsday for the United States Steel Hour as a commentary on the total lack of repentance and defensiveness he saw in Money, Mississippi, where 14-year-old Emmett Till, who was African American, was murdered for flirting with white, 21-year-old Carolyn Bryant. Bryant's husband and stepbrother murdered Till and dumped his body in a river. Both men were acquitted of the crime, and months after the trial, protected by double jeopardy, admitted to the murder in a magazine. Serling's screenplay originally mirrored the case, but was moved from the South, and the witness changed to a Jewish pawnbroker. By the time the network changed the script, it barely resembled the original tale and debuted to bad reviews. After the failure of his screenplay, Serling decided that tales with robots, aliens and other supernatural elements would give him more freedom and less interference in expressing controversial ideas than in traditional settings. He penned The Time Element in 1957, which served as a pilot for his new show. In the story, a man travels back to Honolulu in 1941, and unsuccessfully tries to warn anyone about the impending attack on Pearl Harbor. The script was rejected and sat on the shelf for a year until it was discovered by producer Bert Grenay, who turned it into an episode of Desilu Playhouse. The show was a success, and Serling was given the green light to begin production on The Twilight Zone. Time Enough at Last is one of 4 episodes to feature the late Burgess Meredith. I've been a fan of Mr. Meredith's work over the years. Growing up, I was a huge fan of the Rocky movies in which he played the gruff but lovable Mickey. On television, he had a starring role in the campy Batman TV series, playing the diabolical Penguin in 21 episodes of the show and the theatrical release. He also appeared in several episodes of Serling's Twilight Zone follow-up, Night Gallery, and even took over narration duties from the late Serling in the theatrical release of Twilight Zone, the movie. This tells the tale of Mr. Henry Bemis. Mr. Bemis has a passion for the written word, and in what little free time he has, is often found with his bespectacled face in a book, magazine, or newspaper. In his role as a bank teller, Bemis attempts to read David Copperfield while assisting his customers. These actions lead him to shortchange an annoyed customer. Bemis's boss, and later his wife, both chide him for wasting his time on reading doggerel. His wife even goes so far as to deface a poetry book, which Bemis discovers while attempting to fill his wife's request to read to her. She sounds like a peach, doesn't she? The following day, Bemis takes his lunch inside the bank vault where he knows he will not be disturbed. Minutes later, after reading a newspaper headline about the H-bomb, an explosion rocks the foundations of the bank, knocking Bemis unconscious. After coming to, Bemis emerges from the vault to find the bank demolished. He stumbles from the back and comes face to face with the destruction of the entire city. As Bemis begins his search for survivors, he comes across the remains of the grocery store, which will provide him enough food for a lifetime. But he realizes he has no one to share it with. Overwhelmed by loneliness, he attempts to commit suicide with a found revolver, but stays his hand upon seeing the remains of the public library in the distance. The books are still intact, and Bemis realizes he now has all the time in the world. His despair lifted, Bemis contentedly begins to sort through a lifetime of literature, carefully organizing year after year of reading. As he bends down to pick up the first book, however, he stumbles and his glasses shatter against a rock. Virtually blind without them, he sits on the steps and bursts into tears, shouting, "That's not fair. That's not fair at all. There was time now? There was all the time I needed. That's not fair." Serling offers his closing narration and the credits roll. The show shined with stories like this. A man, whom you pity, is finally given a chance to take part in the one thing that truly brings him joy, and right at the end it is all taken away. Meredith shines as Henry Bemis, and the small yet bullying cast of co-stars just adds to your sympathy for the man. If you haven't seen it, be sure to check it out because it is classic TV.
Why have you left me? Now start to be here is goodbye.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Christopher Pella, and I am your host here at THC Time. It is always a pleasure to be here. My guest today is our first time, actually. We have a mutual friend, and we both share a love for horror. She's also a podcaster herself, and when I found that out, I was like, hey, let's spread the love around. So, folks, this is Annie from Talking Horror with Annie. Did I get that right?
It's
Horror Talk with Annie. Welcome to THC Time. How are you?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me on.
Well, thank you for coming out tonight. I appreciate your time. Tell me a little bit about the podcast. How'd you get started?
Okay, so here's the thing. First of all, it's not really a podcast. It's right now it's just a channel where I will, go out and film some stuff. I'll edit it and then I'll post it. So I haven't really done the podcast the way you're doing here. Although I would like to do something similar.
Sure.
Okay, so I'll give you a little background on how it started. I love horror. I love movies. I have an older daughter. My older daughter, who's 23, we would always start talking. We would just talk about our, whatever film we were talking about at the time, whatever franchises we really like. And she's hysterical. So we would talk and it would be, I'm like, this needs to be our show. We need to do a channel where we're, reviewing movies or just talking about them because it was always hysterical. And of course, these kids, they, to get them to do anything. And one day I'm just like, you know what? I came back from a horror convention, and when you do, you're on fire.
Oh, sure.
So I was like, you know what? I am not waiting for you anymore. And I just got inspired and I said, I'm going to start this channel. I just threw the name out, Horror Talk with Annie. And I said, it's not just like movie reviews or anything. It's just anything that has to do with the horror genre.
Sure.
So I started, going on my visit to Spirit Halloween, and that was my first episode. And I've done interviews with people. I've covered events like movie premieres. I've highlighted local businesses, and I like whatever comes past. Comes past my way that falls into that category. I'm like, yes, let's do an episode. So
excellent.
That's basically, I'm very, it's very new. I started it. I think it was it was either the beginning or end of September. I can't quite recall, but it's very new. I'm just trying to start building it up. But people have given me great feedback. They like what I'm doing. I'm having a good time. So, you got to start somewhere. So
absolutely. And it's clear. I watched a lot of the content, and you're enjoying yourself. And that's the most important thing.
Yeah.
One of the things I found, and you said yourself, visiting horror conventions.
Yes.
The crowd is electric. Like the horror fans love being there. Like they are so passionate. And I've seen people stand in lines to meet someone who was in a horror movie that they just loved 30 years ago. And I mean, it's just so, you don't find that kind of passion. Like I don't see a lot of romance conventions. I don't see a lot of, what kind of got you into horror? Are you a lifelong fan? Like what was?
Well, my mother, my mother was always a horror fan. She was always watching some scary movie or whatever.
Nice.
So I kind of grew up. She didn't hide much from us as children.
Sure.
So, I grew up watching, the old Chiller Theater with my mother.
Nice.
The
Very
old
nice.
Karen Black movies, from way back then.
Mhm.
And I'd say, like most people, where I say it really started, where I really decided I loved horror movies and really got attached was Halloween, 1978 Halloween.
Yes.
Which is a lot of people's story, and that still is although with its ups and downs, it's still my favorite franchise, and I could literally talk about it probably for 3 days straight with all of the craziness going on in that franchise.
To this day, and I've been watching horror for 40 years. To this day, the scene in Halloween where he just sits up from behind the couch is still one of the scariest things I've ever seen.
Yeah, that moment. Yep.
So good. So good. So are you clearly a movie person? Are you reader at all? You into horror like Stephen King, Clive Barker?
Of course, I'm not much of a reader. I have to be honest, but it's funny you were bringing up books and stuff. An acquaintance through my business. I actually work in my real life as a paralegal for IP, and one of the inventors who I just know from working with my firm, he just wrote a thriller novel.
Nice.
And we started talking. I told him about my channel, so he sent me an autographed copy for free that I'm actually reading now. And I said, once I finish that, I'd love to promote it, on my channel. So that's probably what's on deck. But yeah, I do. It has to be something that really holds my attention for me to sit there and read a lot.
Sure.
But I actually have a bunch of books that I want to just start reading, and they're books that I've seen the movies already. But I actually bought a bunch of books because as you can see, I don't know if you can see what I'm wearing here, but it's actually in one of my shorts. I have my Terrifier 3
Very nice.
Ice Nine Kills hoodie. Ice Nine Kills is a metalcore band that has 2 albums out now. They're all about horror movies.
I was at Silver Screen back in September.
I was there as well.
Oh, awesome! Yeah,
and yes, I was there as well the whole weekend. That was my second time going. I've already booked my hotel for 4.
Nice.
To me, it's one of the best. And so I
absolutely.
bought a bunch of books from their album, Every Trick in the Book.
Yes.
And I have them stacked up in this little kind of display. And so I'm like, you know what? I'm going to read those.
Yeah, I was actually there doing press. I came in with Ari Lehman from
awesome.
Jason.
Okay. Yes.
Because him and I met about a year and a half ago at a convention, and we just got to talking, and now we've got a couple things we're putzing around with on the side. So, but great show. I had a great time. I got to talk to Spencer for a few minutes. I talked to Damian Leone for a few minutes, which was super cool.
That's a story for you. Yeah, that was amazing.
Yeah. So were you surprised by the video announcement, the Ice Nine Kills Terrifier 3?
When I talked to Spencer that day, and he's like, "Oh, we have a surprise." Like it kind of got leaked out that I knew that was the video they shot in July, and I was so upset I couldn't fly out to California to be in it. But I kind of knew it was Terrifier. I didn't know what song it was. I just knew that because it kind of leaked out that David Howard Thornton was on set. So I know it's Terrifier. But I was surprised that it was part of the movie itself. And that was surprising. I didn't know that.
Yes. And the trailer the video just.
They knocked it out of the park with that video.
They are so good at what they do.
They really are.
I mean, you can tell their passion for the genre because, I mean, especially with Spencer. I mean, he is in there at every nitty gritty little detail and stuff, and the stuff that they hide in the videos and the little nods here and there. They are so very much fans. I'll ask, although I have a pretty good idea. How did you enjoy Terrifier 3?
Okay, I'm a huge fan of the franchise. I'll be honest, it's not my favorite of the 3. I was a little disappointed leaving the theater. I was so excited to see it. And I'm not going to say I despise it.
Mhm.
There's a lot of things I thought were great about it. I am super excited for Damien and everyone involved in that
Oh, yeah.
movie. I think it's fantastic. I really love the first one. And as much as I love the first one, I did love the second one.
Right.
I just think that, and me and my daughter talked about this in the video in the episode I did after we saw it. I really think that hopefully when 4 comes out, it's going to help us appreciate 3 a little bit more.
Yes.
Because sometimes you need that. I mean, I understand why Damien did some of the things that he did in 3, and I've seen the interviews. And the thing is, he's on the same wavelength as what I'm thinking. And I know what he's doing, and he's the master, and he's the creator, and
Right.
he knows what he's doing. But if I'm being honest, I was a little let down by Terrifier 3.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
But the promise of 4 though
Yes.
is definitely intriguing. And David Howard Thornton, he deserves the success that he's finding.
Oh.
He is so good. And I see him in videos just out, like when he was going to Spirit Halloween stores in full costume and wandering around and messing with people. And I mean, just he is so dedicated to that character.
Yeah.
And I think that I haven't seen there's another movie out there that he had done called The Mean One, which I'm still trying to track down a copy.
I saw it. I saw it, and I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah.
And now he's talking about he's shown some interest in playing the Joker, which he had done in a one-man stage show or something. He had done parts of The Killing Joke live on stage. There was a video of him out there doing it, and he's the guy is and to do the whole thing silently.
Yes. And you know, he's got that comedic, and going back to why I love 1 and 2 so much, and which disappointed me in 3, he acts it as comedy.
Yes.
But it doesn't normally come off as comedy. It comes off as super creepy. And
Right.
that's where they lost me a little bit in 3, because to me, it came off a little too comedic. But that was his genius, is acting it like a Buster Keaton, but coming off creepy. It was masterful.
Right.
You know?
Did you speaking of silent performances, did you see Willy's Wonderland?
I did not.
Nick Cage
Oh, I love him.
doing a silent performance. He doesn't say a word throughout the whole movie. And it is what the Five Nights at Freddy movie should have been.
Okay.
So I think it's on Netflix or Hulu.
Oh, I'm
one
going
of the
to
two.
have to definitely watch it.
It is
because I
so
love
good.
Nick Cage.
It is so good. And Cage is amazing in it. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and then we're going to come back. We're going to play a little game called Straight Fire. Hold on, folks. We'll be right back. Blah, 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 blah. Cut. Okay. And get the thing up for that. It's right here. Okay, good. All right. And we're back. Annie, it is now time for us to play Straight.
What if CAT really spelled dog?
All right. This is Straight Fire. 5 random questions, no wrong answers, nothing serious at all. First question and the last question are always the same. So, first question. If dogs wore pants, would they wear them on 2 legs or 4 legs?
2 legs.
2 legs. All right. Excellent. That is the most common answer. My favorite answer, recently someone said they would wear bib overalls so they could keep like dog treats in the little pocket. I'm like,
So cute.
all right, that'll work. That'll work. What is your favorite guilty pleasure movie?
My favorite guilty pleasure movie. Oh God. Probably, oh geez, this is a tough one. Probably, I don't even know if that's guilty pleasure though. I think that's good. I'm gonna say White Chicks.
Ooh. Ouch. All right. I can't criticize. Mine is Grease 2. So I am not in any.
Grease 2.
Grease 2 is amazing. So yeah, I'm in no way to criticize on White Chicks. you've done the conventions. Any positive or negative stories when it comes to meeting anyone, like something that really sticks out to you?
Oh goodness. You said positive or negative?
Yep.
Well, I'm happy to say I've never had a negative experience.
Excellent.
Positive, they've all been positive. Like I said, one of the greatest moments for me was at the last Silver Scream, and you mentioned Damien Leone. And the reason it was so great for me, it was funny because I had gotten the original promotional poster for Terrifier 3 at the theater when they gave them out when Terrifier 2 was re-released. So I was like, oh, this would be great to get this signed by David and Damien. So I brought it, and I'm all excited, but I'm like, Damien was kind of just like, okay, I want him to sign it because he's the creator and the director. But normally if I meet people I'm really excited about, I have this whole script in my head already ready. Like, oh, I want to say this. With him, it was just like, I just wanted him to sign the poster. Like, I didn't have to ask him. It was one of the best conversations I've ever had because I think it was just authentic. There was nothing planned. We talked about what me and my daughter thought about what Terrifier 3 was going to be, what we liked, what we did. And he seemed genuinely interested in the conversation. And it was just such an awesome experience. And yes, I left with a little bit of crush on him. But it was just one of the best conversations because it was just off the cuff and natural and authentic. And I'm sure you've met him there. He's awesome. So that was one of my best experiences.
Oh yeah, I'm trying to harass him to come on the show and talk to me. I know he's a very busy person. I'm working on it. I'm reaching out. We did an interview a couple weeks ago with Don Zito, the director of Nightmare on Elm Street 4, or Friday the 13th Part 4, and had a great time with him. So yeah, we'll see what happens. You're in a cabin.
Wait, can I give you a quick aside though?
Sure, absolutely.
Because another one of my greatest moments at a convention, and I was actually working at the convention at the time, so I had kind of VIP access.
Sure.
But when I met Robert Englund at Rock and Shock, one of the best moments of my life. That was epic.
Nice. Very nice. I actually had the opportunity 2 years ago. I was doing a convention, a toy show, actually in Saratoga Springs, New York, and James O'Barr was there. And I've been a Crow fan since before the movie. Like, I owned the original comics. I'm a long-time fan. So I finally got to meet him. And one of the first things I said to him, I was like, man, I said, I've been waiting 30 years to meet you. And he looked at me and he says, well, I'm glad I didn't die. I'm like, yeah, I'm glad you didn't die either. Thanks, James.
Yeah, exactly.
But, yeah, super nice guy, absolute first class, all the way. Great guy. All right. Question number 4. You're in a cabin in the woods. You find a book. Do you read the ancient text?
Absolutely not.
Yay! Believe it or not, that's a 50-50 on that one. Half the time people are like, oh yeah. I'm like, you're a horror writer or you're a filmmaker. You know how this plays out. Why would you do that?
We know what the
curiosity.
That's all about.
They want to see how far it'll go.
Yeah.
And the last question, question I ask everybody, and after you answer, I'll explain why. When you are at the grocery store, Annie, can you reach the items on the top shelf?
Absolutely not.
Okay. All right. The reason I ask is because somebody asked me that. One of the first interviews I ever did. I'm 6'4". So not a problem for me. My wife is 5'1". I do all the tall work. She does all the short work. We've got a perfect balance here. But yeah, I can't even go into a grocery store for more than like 10 minutes.
Oh, wow.
And some nice little old lady is asking me. So, for me, it's just part of who I am.
Yeah, I'd be one of them because I'm 5'2", so I'm very short as well.
So there you go. Exactly. And I can't speak for all the tall people, but I'm always happy to help because I understand.
There you go.
I can't bend down to get shit off the low shelves anymore. I'm old. My knees are bad. And, so we work. It's like a symbiosis kind of thing. We work.
Yeah.
Yeah. So here is. Hold on a second. That is the channel on YouTube, folks. So what can we expect in the near future?
Well, like I said, I am going to hopefully finish this book quickly that I'm reading right now. It's called Children of the Scroll by Rick Tabor. So once I get that finished, I'd like to do a little. I don't know if it's going to be a short episode or it'll probably be a short episode. Just kind of plugging that. I do want to do some movie review
Sure.
episodes. I have tried to tap some people to do something similar to this,
Awesome.
where we do some movie reviews. And like whatever, like I said, whatever comes away. I started a new series, I guess you'd call it, where I'm highlighting horror fans.
Nice.
So a good friend of mine, Jay Picarillo, was my first guest as our first horror fan spotlight. So I'd like to, continue that as well.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Cool. We do a weekly show here called What the Fuck Did I Just Watch? Where we get together once a week and we sit and we watch, some of the worst movies ever. So if you're ever free, feel free to join us. Last week we watched Winnie the Pooh 2.
Oh, okay.
The Blood and Honey movies are so much fun. And for Christmas we watched Elves from 1989.
Ooh, never heard of
And
that.
it should have been called Elf because there was only one. And it was kind of before outdoor lighting rigs were readily available. So like 70% of the movie is just dark as hell and you can't see what's going on. It's awful, but it was fun, so. Oh no, last week we watched Amityville Karen, which was directed by a gentleman named Sean Phillips, who works with a bunch of other people I know. He's got a new movie coming out soon called Skate to Hell, which is about a demonic skateboard. So that, very cool stuff. I've met some really, really interesting people in the last few months, and there's a lot of cool stuff happening. So we'll definitely have to stay in touch and rising tide raises all ships or something like that, they say. So we can find you here on YouTube, and you got more content coming in the future. You're going to do some more conventions this year. Get out. Maybe we'll run into each other at one of these shows. I'll be out on the East Coast at some point this year, I'm sure, for something. Plus, I still own a house out there, so every once in a while I do have to go back. So that all sounds good, though. Anybody you want to give a quick shout out to before we wrap up?
No, just like everyone, I really appreciate it if you guys could check out my channel. I'm on YouTube. I also am on Instagram and TikTok. And I just love this genre. It's just so much fun. And I'm going to be highlighting some of the other people in my life, that I actually got to do some extra work on a horror film that's going to be coming soon with some pretty big names in it. So look forward to look out for that episode. Maybe I'll work with the director. I know the director well, so maybe I'll get him on the show and we'll talk about that.
Absolutely. I love to have filmmakers on. I'm all about highlighting the creators, the artists, the people who are out there doing the work, because you guys, the more eyes, the more you grow, the more we all grow. And, this is a community, and this has the potential to be a great community. And when we're at our best and we're helping each other, it's a wonderful thing. So Annie, thank you so much for coming out tonight. I appreciate your time. We will talk very soon. And, there's a lot going on. So
yeah, thank you so much for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Oh, not a problem at all. Have yourself a great night. All right, folks, I want to thank you for joining us. Be sure to tune in next week for another thrilling episode of THC Time. As always, I am Christopher Pelton, and I am your host. Have a great night and enjoy this.